Hey you guys, and welcome in to Tom's Ad Search and how I'm going to help you look through your local ads in the Phoenix market and find the best deals at your local grocery stores. Let's get through these things. I am excited to see what we can save this week. You know, each and every week these stores are trying to pull in customers and market share with these really hot front page items. So let's take a look at these prices and see if we can save some money today. We're going to start off with the Albertsons Safeway ad. So let's take a look. Pretty classic one. They're running their USDA Choice boneless chuck, cross rib, bottom round, eye round, top round, petite, or untrimmed tri-tip for $4.99. You and I have talked about this in the past. Chuck roast is a good price at $4.99, and also that petite sirloin and the tri-tip roast untrimmed at $4.99 a pound is a pretty smoking deal, you guys. That tri-tip though is going to have a lot of fat, kind of like when you buy a whole brisket in a bag, you know, that big cap of fat on it. It's going to be like that, but that's still a good price at $4.99 a pound. So Safeway's bringing it with a roast ad, you know, right before the summer. And then we have their Sanders's Farms split breast, chicken breast, or whole chicken. Now the split breast is going to be with the bone on, which I find to be a wonderful way to barbecue chicken breast. If you leave that skin on it and you leave that bone on it, that chicken breast is going to get really, it's going to stay nice and juicy in between those two things. At $1.49 a pound, that's not a terrible price, you guys. 80% lean ground beef, sold in the value pack. That's 80% meat, 20% that would be the ticket. God, Dave's Killer Bread at $5.97. I don't know if that's a deal or not. They're trying to act like that's a deal anyway. Red hot deals. Well, I don't know about all that, but that's expensive for a loaf of bread, and that's kind of a small loaf of bread at that. So here's some of your $5 Friday deals. It looks like you have bacon, 20 to 24 ounce variety. So you have your Lando Frost, or you have a thick cut bacon for $5. If it's a 24 ounce pack of bacon, that's not bad for $5. Not bad at all. All right, here's a whole host of coupons, different things you can save. You know, Sara Lee bread, there's a good one. You know, I'm always partial to Sara Lee. That's one of my favorite brands of bread to buy at $2.49 each. You know, normally it's $2.99, so that's even 50 cents off more than it would normally be. That's not bad at all. Dr. Pepper Coke products, buy two, get one free. Nothing too serious. A little savings when you want to buy that. 2 for $5 on buns and hot dog buns for Ballpark. Ballpark is also a Sara Lee product. And that's a win as well. A boneless New York strip at $12.99. That's a decent price. A couple bucks off a pound than what it would be regularly. You know, New York strip is okay. It's not the best, it's not the worst. That's the top part of the T-bone. And at least it's boneless, so no bone to pay for, and you're getting a pretty decent savings. Boneless, skinless breasts, probably sold out of their service counter, $3.99. That's a pretty regular price for anything coming out of the service counter. 21-25 count shrimp, 2-pound bag, at $5 a pound. That's a good savings, you guys. 21.25 is a pretty big shrimp. That's how many shrimp you're going to get per pound, and well worth the deal. 51-60 count shrimp at $5.99, sold in a 2-pound bag. You know, tail on, cooked, $5.99. It's $1 more. You don't have to cook it. It's not too bad if you're looking for cooked shrimp rather than raw. The raw shrimp, in my opinion, is a better price, but not too bad nonetheless. Let's slide down this thing a little bit more. Basic price, stew meat, $6.99. You know, this stew meat, they'll be cutting lots and lots of stew meat off of this roast ad. So, you know, that's an upsell for that roast ad. And then you also have chuck steaks and round steaks for $7.99 a pound. Here's a decent deal. You know, Farmer John. Bacon at $3.99 each. Unfortunately, you know, it's a 12-ounce package. You know, Farmer John is normally 12 ounces. So that's an okay deal at $3.99. Not the best, not the worst. Grapes at $1.99, red and green grapes at $1.99 per pound. These are digital sales, so you have to go to their website or use their app to download that digital sale. 2 ears of corn for $1. It's not terrible, 50 cents an ear. That's a pretty decent price if you're trying to throw, say, a petite sirloin barbecue together. You got, you know, corn, and all you need is the potatoes. Let's see if they have a potato deal here. Let's slide down this ad a little bit more. Now we're getting into like non-food stuff here. Let's see if they throw one more little thing at you as far as a center of the plate item or a produce item. No, they're pushing the other side of the store, more of a summer feel. All right, so let's roll back up to the front of this ad. So here we got Albertsons and Safeway running a roast ad, split breast chicken, and an 80% lean ground beef, and then a digital special on sirloin chops bone in, and a petite sirloin at $3.97. So that's not bad. A couple things you can put on the grill: real cheap pork, a real cheap piece of meat, and then you have 80% at $3.99 for burgers, and then a good old-fashioned roast sale, multiple roasts that you can get, even the chuck roast at $4.99. Not too bad from the Albertsons Safeway. Might be worth going in there and trying to save a few bucks. All right, let's slide on over to the Bash's ad. You know, we've been doing this for quite a few weeks now, and you know, this Bash's, they run, you know, the same sort of sale almost every single week, you know, give or take a little bit. And you know, almost every week you can go in and get 80% lean ground beef at $2.99 a pound. That is not a bad savings. I mean, that is usually the cheapest price on the market. on a special digital deal. Buy two get two on 2-liter bottles of soda. Again, look at the regular retail, you guys, on that to see if it truly is a good price. Potato chips, $2.99 each. When you buy 4 bags, I think last week we saw them at $1.99. You know, Lay's, Cheetos, same thing. So, you know, not too bad. A little upsell, but you know, still not too bad. Here's Sara Lee bread again, buns, hot dog buns, and regular bread at $2.99, 50 cents more than Albertsons Safeway, but still a pretty good deal nonetheless. Let's keep sliding down this ad, see what other kind of riches we can find. Raw shrimp, 16 to 20 count, sold in the 2-pound bag. Looks like easy peel, so it's going to come shell on with the tail for $5.49 a pound. You know, that's a pretty good deal. Probably $2 a pound, $2.50 a pound less than what you'd normally find it. But you're seeing some of the standards between all the different grocery stores. You know, each one of them is going to run a shrimp. Each one of them is going to run a protein. You know, and so this is Bash's shrimp at $5.49 a pound. It's a pretty decent deal, but not quite as cheap as the 21.25 count from Albertsons Safeway. All right, let's keep rolling down the ad a little bit. Lunchables on sale. That's okay. $1.69 on bologna and jumbo franks from Bar S. It looks like it's the 12-ounce pack, so that's not, well, 12 to 16 ounces. Just depends. I wonder if that Bar S bologna is the smaller bologna, or the Bar S hot dogs could be the smaller pack, because they sell a 12-ounce and a 16-ounce pack usually for Bar S hot dogs. Bar S quality is not what it used to be, you guys. If anybody's kept their quality, Oscar Mayer has, so I don't know, Bar S is okay. If you just need a good cheap hot dog, there you go. Let's keep rolling down this ad. Jimmy Dean bacon. It's only a 12-ounce pack, so don't get too excited, but at $3.99, it's not too bad, just like the Farmland bacon, or the Farmer John bacon from the Albertsons Safeway ad for $2.99 as well. I believe that was a 12-ounce pack as well. Let's keep rolling down this. Thomas's English muffins for $2.49. Oreos for $3.99. I want to say they were $2.99 last week, so hopefully you stocked up on that $2.99 price. And that's the ticket, man. When they have run those good sales, you know, stock up, get a few packs, try to get through a few weeks, you know, or maybe buy enough for the month, and you will truly save yourself money in the long run. Let's look down here a little bit more. There's a patty for $3.99. There's their service case chicken, probably at $4.29. That's their boneless skinless breast. And they're running a cube steak and stew meat at $5.99 a pound, which is going to be, you know, produced off of that bottom round. You know, they're going to be producing stew meat and cube steak off that bottom round and trying to upsell you at $5.99 a pound, which is kind of how the game works, unfortunately. Let's see, $8.99 for coho salmon. Now this is a frozen product. Coho salmon is one of the wild good salmons. As long as it is wild, make sure and check on your tag for the cool information, country of origin labeling, to see if that is truly a wild caught product and where it's caught from. Let's slide down this thing a little bit more. Pastries. Let's see what else we have here. I'm not going to really feature alcohol. 3 different digital deals on alcohol for Bash's. Produce, you know, Bash's always does have a pretty good produce deal, and they really do have some pretty nice quality when it comes to produce. Bash's has raised the price on the Idaho potatoes, 2 for $5. You know, so $2.50 a 5-pound bag rather than the 99 cents or the $1.50. So they went up a little bit on their pricing. They're trying to make back a little bit of their gross profit from, you know, running probably a hot Easter ad. And that's kind of the ins and outs of that. Them trying to market a little bit, raise the price on you week to week, lower the price and raise the price so that you're spending a little more incrementally. Let's slide down this ad a little bit more and see what we have. And that's it for the Bashas' ad. So let's roll back up to the top of this thing. And Bashas' is running a $3.99 bottom round roast, $1.49 pork sirloin chops, and they're probably almost each and every week deal for 80% lean ground beef at $2.99 a pound. And man, probably one of the better deals is this 4 avocados for $1. That's a pretty smoking deal, you guys. And that's one worth taking advantage of. Avocado toast all day long. All right, let's slide now to the fries ad and see what we're saving at your local Fry's. Right off the bat, $3.49 a pound for 80% lean ground beef. Basically, 80%. This is the Chub 80%, so you're right in between the Bashas' price and the Albertson Safeway price at $3.49. So a decent deal on it, but it is the stuff that's in the Chub. You know, if you're okay with that. We got red, orange, yellow bell peppers as far as English and English cucumbers for 89 cents each. That's not bad. That's pretty good if you're looking for that. Atlantic salmon for $8.99, and your Heritage Farm drumsticks and thighs $1.29 a pound. That's pretty good for, you know, skin on, bone in thigh or drumstick. $1.29 a pound. It's not bad. Here's a mix and match deal, 99 cents each. The whole list of items here. You want to look for that tag basically on the shelf to tell you that it's a mix and match item. Ah, look at that. Bar S Franks for 99 cents in this mix and match deal. So they beat the competitor by a little bit if you want Bar S. Oh, the smoking deal out of all the ads. This is probably the best and most savings. It's your baby back ribs for just $1.99 a pound. This is a weekly digital deal. You'll need to buy 5 of these racks in your first purchase to really take advantage of this price. But man, that's a good price on baby back ribs, and well worth stopping in at Fry's to grab up, 5 racks of those. $2.49 each on 2-pound strawberries. Wow, so 2 pounds of strawberries for $2.49. That is a smoking deal at $1.25 a pound. That's well worth taking advantage of. Strawberry shortcake, you can just do so many different things with strawberries. Make you some jam preserves, as the Geico commercial Gecko would talk about. And then you have a deal on your half gallons at $1.29 each, which is okay. Let's slide down this a little bit more. Some more weekly digital deals. You have burgers and party wings at $7.99. That's okay. Nothing special. Ooh, Crest toothpaste at 99 cents each. That's actually really cheap, especially for Fry's. I think that tube of toothpaste is normally in the $3.99 range, so $3 off of that toothpaste. That's not terrible. That's good. Chorizo, 3 for $5. I don't know about that brand. That's the one with the lymph nodes and all the different weird stuff in it. And if you like that classic chorizo like that, then that's the ticket. And then avocados at 99 cents, but not near as good a deal as the competitor. So they're staying competitive, but not as cheap as the other store. Let's keep sliding down this ad. 2 for $6, so $3 a bag for Lay's. Very comparable to the other ones. I think it's a penny difference. And then here's some more Sara Lee products. Buy one, get one. Just depends on what that regular price is. Again, looking at that tag and making sure you're paying attention to what you're buying and how much it is, regular price. The crescent rolls and the biscuit deal, 2 for $5. That's a pretty normal average Joe price. You'll find those on sale at one of your local grocery stores and around this same price range on a pretty regular basis. Let's keep rolling down this ad. Rolling. All right, pork tenderloin. My God, out of all the pork, besides the pork butt, The pork tenderloin is my next best favorite. I mean, you can make pork medallions, you know, just the whole pork loin. You can smoke this pork loin. Honestly, you throw it in the crock pot, it'll fall apart really fast. It's just a lean piece of meat that's very, very tender. That pork tenderloin is very underrated in my opinion. It can be used just a ton of different ways. 16-ounce bag of scallops for $11. That's pretty good. Scallops in the service counter in the same size range is in that $14.99 a pound range, so that's not too bad. 12-ounce bacon. Looks like everybody's running a 12-ounce bacon of sorts. This is their Kroger bacon for $3.99, and that's just a decent deal, you know, and staying very competitive in the market for fries. 26 to 30 count. Sold in a 2-pound bag for $7.99 a pound. You know, you saw better deals at both the other grocery stores, Bashas', Safeway, Albertsons, for cheaper shrimp. So shrimp elsewhere might be a better savings when you're trying to actually save some money. They're getting into some of their summer stuff. Not too bad. So fries, you know, running an okay ad, nothing too special. But let's roll back up to the top and talk about this. Tenderloin at $2.99. That's a great deal in my opinion. Baby back rib at $1.99 and strawberries at 2 pounds for $1.25 a pound. And that is a great deal. And then an 80% lean ground beef at $3.49 a pound. So, you know, some decent deals at your local Fry's. And just an average set of sales, you know, for your local grocery stores. But still, you go to Walmart, you know, you go to Costco, you're still going to pay more per pound on, say, your roast deals from, you know, your Albertsons, Safeway, and then your roast deal from Bashas', you know, in comparison to $1.99 baby back rib. You know, I imagine at Costco or Sam's Club, you're still going to pay probably in that $2.50 a pound range to $3 a pound range for that baby back rib from them. So you really can save money and not have to go to a Costco and spend 2.5 hours in there, you know, where you can cruise around to your local grocery stores, get in and out in say 10 or 15 minutes, pick up these really good deals and save some money. Save some money. Remember, shop on Fridays at Fry's for 4 times fuel points. Save on gas and save on, you know, gas to be able to run around to your different local grocery stores to save money in general. Hey, my name's Tom. I'm your local butcher, and thanks for saving money with me. I appreciate each and every one of you spending some time with me. Bye now.